good year last year, I would say. Obviously, one of them
better than the other.
One of them arguably had a better one because they won not only one of them, but the biggest one. But it's
the granddaddy of them all. Six Invitational.
It's always a risk to try and read what Toki types. I am assuming that's Croatian.
I would assume so as well.
I guess we might have medics observing, and he.
Oh.
I won't repeat the translation, but you at home can Google Translate things.
You can.
I'm not Google. Don't Google.
Don't Google.
Medics
Okay, don't Google.
As Gracious Speaker saying, don't Google. Thatcher gone, Nook gone. We're on Cafe Dostoevsky. What do you think?
Well, I'm first of all going over the other bands as well as they come through. The Cade band as well. Usually for hatches, of course, quite important. Sometimes it's annoying on that double wall and the Valkyrie to be removed in the end. Now, talking about Cafe. Valkyrie, first of all, great operator to use any map, but Cafe has a lot of hiding spots as well, which will no longer be used. Cade, often used on those hatches, which will make that job a little bit easier for both these teams. The Nook is truly going to be, stylistic choice. Like you don't want to go up against someone who sneaks by all those cameras, and G2 has a couple of players that would like to fancy the Nook every now and then if they have the opportunity to. And the Thatcher, he's kind of like, I don't want to say brainless ban, but it's often like if you don't know what to ban in rank, for example, everybody bans Thatcher, right? Just go after it because it's just such a powerful gadget. You toss the softball and everything in the radius suddenly doesn't work anymore.
It's the very fun thing because I found myself explaining it. My friends who have gotten into Siege, so I know I've told a few stories to my gold tier friends. They're getting better.
What rank are you all on now?
Well, I'm in Emerald.
Okay.
There's a couple of them in Plat. Which is great.
Okay,
a couple of them in Gold, and there's a couple of them that Silver and Bronze.
Okay.
We're getting there. But one of the things that they always ask us about Thatcher removals is why do it, and it's because it limits a whole aspect of play. It's exactly the same reason for my money, but on a smaller scale you would ban Nook. You think about what Nook works against, and it's a dependency. It's cameras. It's a style of play. You have to have an awareness that changes based on a sole operator's appearance. You can still have people sneak. You can still have people play, but you can't have somebody play in the same way that the Nook does. And that's the swing there, and that's why it's an easier removal, because it's less about them and more about you in some regards. Not entirely, but...
I mean, if you don't use the Nook yourself that much, then, you don't have to worry about her either. It can be said for a lot of those bans, but especially the ones that have such a, basically impact that there's no replacement for. Now, as we get going, the first minute has passed, almost. MNM is looking to be attacking from multiple angles right here. It's being tossed in to get rid of some castle barricades. Candelas are being caught up by discs, and that means that we are in that utility part of the game where stuff just gets wasted. We just start throwing things in, see what sticks, see what doesn't. And Solotov looking to go for the first pick as well.
Oh, the Kiva barricade just over the top. The Swing Avenger onto users. They're buying themselves some time and pressure. The extended hold here. They've obviously got the castle to offer some support towards the hold around Cigar. They've got the pressure onto the windows. The Kiva barricade still rebuilding. Doki caught out by Tyrant underneath. Tyrant gets a second. They went for the attempt on the revenge there, but that middle floor control is all in the favor of Tyrant as of this moment in time. And, well, now he's going to see if he can try and hold on to it. The fun statistic about Tyrant, actually, Grunt Triple on Twitter made a great scattergraph of plant appearances based on players.
I've seen it, yes.
He was one of the lowest plants based on players. I think it was he plants every 0.06 rounds or something like that Tyrant plays. Hacked Bulletproof from Nate.
Yeah, so that's going to be giving away some information. I don't think the EMP stun is going to be as useful, but it's especially going to be good for trying to figure out if there is someone going to be up on this side of the map. Now pings are starting to come through, so they will have that confirmation. Even red pings as well. The bulletproof camera is, of course, bulletproof, so it's going to be very difficult to take care of for G2 here. So, that's just a piece of utility and a state of that utility they need to live with now. No way around it. There's still a wait. Holding tight. 35 seconds. MNM, they have that man advantage due to the skirmish we had down onto the second floor. I believe that the repel-ins are coming very soon. Candela's popping off. Blur spots out one. Is going to go aggressive right here to take Tyrant down, and that means they can now only focus onto the players repelling into the site.
Wow, look at that. G2, they flooded the kill board. Nafe was seeing if he could just sneak the plant on the far side, but Benja gets the end, and from what was that lead in there from MNM, from the couple of bodies brought back in the middle, they just could not find the way to shimmy and shake themselves towards the end of that sticking. I mean, as long as Benja's alive, there's a problem. Blur hasn't been as problematic this recent split. He was sort of coming in this on one of the lower ratings I think we have in a UL, but at the same time, is that because of the heights that the rest of the players have reached? You can only kill as many as the others leave you, and if you kill at the right time, like we've seen, it's the impact that matters.
Yeah, Blur had a 0.92 rating before we went in here, so it's not going to be positive out there. But good round from G2, and just quickly breaking that down from the MNM side of things, they had the 2-man entry, but only Tyron was in the building. Tyron was there, he was coming up the white stairs, but it was being covered. There was no real pressure coming down from other MNM players to a potential player out there. He loses his life, we're back in a 3-on-3, and the rest is just repelling in. Like, I mean, it's a very vulnerable position to be in, and as Tiga taken down, I think that kind of proved itself. And that problem you wouldn't have if you would have attacked through the red side, if you would have gone through Cigar. You might have not had all the kills, but at least you were all inside the building and able to instantly go for refrags on one another.
I don't want to go and saying they have a habit of it, but MNM do try some particular takes. They do try some takes, and I think that's a credit. I think that's obviously, you know, a major change on the behind-the-scenes
casting. Of course, yes.
Casting stuff? No, that's us. On the management, on the coaching staff. It will bring new ideas. It will bring fresh ideas. They've tried those, some of them. They try and pull away from the molds that EU set, but as Fresh sort of highlighted on the desk, G2 are defining a mold right now. They're setting a pace for this game, and there's going to be no one more awkward to try out new things than the people who are sort of evaluating and defining new things.
As well as G2, right? They've had that rough period, and Benja joined, and suddenly the team just clicks all together, and everything just works, like, even when it's not supposed to work. And I mean, I say that like in kind of like a weird way maybe, but it's like sometimes they're behind and they still manage to clutch themselves back into the round due to mistakes being made and them punishing it so well. So something you have to keep in mind here. And, you know, MNM losing out the player on below and not having any pressure to go for the refrag instantly afterwards, those kind of things, it's just what G2 needs to get themselves back into a round.
So, how will they try and bite at this first round? We've had a bit of control over the top. The smashing can start to break its way down now that they've got a bit more of the control here, and it creates an awkward pocket of space underneath. G2 themselves, they've pulled out of sight. This is how teams will hold it if they're holding on the ground floor. They will give some of the aerial, some of the visual, and try and bite back when they go for the plant, when they go for the execute, because they've still got to get themselves into sight, and you know that you can sort of surround it in this big, dangerous C shape that goes all the way around the sort of core on the mudroom and the red corridor being the back line of this, and they're sat there waiting. They're letting MNM sort of use utility, burn gadgets, burn through things, and mainly burn time.
Failing to actually get the flashbangs through the serial laser gate there, and that means that will stay closed for now, so someone else will have to deal with that just momentarily. If coming down the red staircase there is going to be heard and instantly replied to. Doki is still going to be on the side, but he's just waiting for the actual drop to happen before he uses those keeper barriers. Blur holding off from VIPs. Always a crucial position if you want to go for a hatch drop like this. That flashbang is not going to be doing too much here. Doki might be blinded, but there's no way they can instantly fight back on him. For 30 seconds, they need to go for a drop now.
There's another catch on a disc. There's pressure coming down the back end of white stairs. Tyrant goes for the hop round the side. He wants to see if he can hit the DMR fight, but they're inside and looking for the hop over to Sync. Nafe does get Alamau, but with that keeper barricade still up and with only 19 seconds, they really do not have much of an option. And Doki, he's going to see if he can absolutely firing line. They're not even in yet. He hears the break. He sees the swing, gets 1.5, but he should get the second there. Rotates round and, well, caught from above, but at that point, uses, he's got to try and drive the site. 3 players left from G2, and it was perfectly set up. They, as I said, gave the ground, said this is what you're getting, but you're not getting any more. We don't need to suffer the vertical from above because, well, you've got to still take it yourself.
And that's it, right? Look, just waiting it out, I realized how little time is actually left for MNM to make happen what they need to make happen. And if you have Blur in VIP uncontested, he can just hold the hatch drop. He will not call for any rotation to come through until those smoke grenades from the attackers come out to block his line of sight. And that's when all the cogs on G2 started moving as soon as that happened, because there was no other way around it. So G2, they waited it out. They were rewarded for it as well and find themselves with 2-0. And MNM, Looking to find an attack on the tertiary side, which is going to be reading and dining.
All right, MNM. 2 false starts there, but you know, you can build yourselves into a game as of this point. It's sort of come down to the problem of the execute. You can see the cogs whirring. You can see the ideas for MNM sort of coming together, piecing up what they want to take down and putting the stress on here, but G2, they've just been that little step ahead, and whether it's down to the resolve of the hold or the hold itself, either way, it's success, and success is the one that tells the story. If this one goes away, we might see an MNM conversation. I mean, it's not the most outlandish to sort of have yourself even footing on Cafe.
3-3 is definitely not something that is often unheard of. Taking care of the top 4 is going to be hard, though, because we've seen them struggle in the first round with those keeper barriers around on the piano, which are, of course, a pretty basic thing to play if a zombie's up. Usually that is where those keeper barriers will go. But it does mean a lot of utility will have to be used by the sides of MNM if they want to get rid of that player. Now, the Clutch Drone, I believe, has hacked a default camera out on that bottom floor. It's going to be allowing them to hold the hallway, making sure there's no run-outs or no swings coming in from the garage, which will make them feel a bit safer going up for that rappel on the side.
Let's see if they can put the pressure here onto Benja that's tacked up. He's happy, and that gets barricaded off, and rotten timing. He's got to smash through it. Doesn't want to get swung on the back of it, but in the meantime, Benja, he's pulled himself a little bit safer, whether he was cautious of some pressure coming around behind him. I think he reads how much pressure is coming towards the pixel corner and doesn't want to be on the wrong end of it. The Solace is hunting. Clutch Drone is going to just slip on by. Benja's pulled himself even further back, and will it be able to get itself all the way in on site? No, says Virtue.
Got to the side, managed to get a hack down onto a piece of utility, but after that, nothing more than that. So, nothing really to worry about. Repels are coming in again. They're trying to put up some extra pressure. Nate is definitely going to be aware of the fact that he just got something open up to his side. As Doki finds the kill onto Solotov. Takes a lot of damage, but still has a shield to hide behind, so really no reason to worry for him.
I mean, the gun of Solotov and the gun of Users is 2 that you need to try and keep at bay for as long as possible, and there it is. The second of my sentence is punctuated by Doki with an extreme swing up to the skylight and the head of Users' prize. 50 seconds and a 3 versus 5 here, and all they've really been able to do is cause some trouble and some pressure around them, but the players themselves haven't been caught out. They're still happy to sit in these positions. Nath caught by Blur, who was just
hiding.
Crouch wait. They do finally get the end of Doki from his ex-teammate once upon a time. However, there's still a lot left to remove.
Not a lot of time, 30 seconds on the clock. Tyrant is up on a rappel on the actual site, but doesn't have the diffuser, so all he can do for now is just hold off until his teammate arrives. But even if Plant most likely not going to be going down, Benja will be taken out by Tyrant. A beautiful shot from him as he just repels through, probably unexpected with the amount of time that was left on the clock. Nello will find another, suddenly it's a 2-on-2 situation, but then Virtue finds a response and finds the second as well from the SMG-11 up to the pump shotgun. Locks it off for G2, finds themselves with a 3rd round on the board.
It's a bit worrying right now if you're up against this G2 team because it feels like all of them are playing. And it's not something that we've had throughout this first split. I know Ollie sort of highlighted it as once you've won the biggest prize, you got to re-find your motivation. You got to sort of convince yourself, you know, we can still do this again. We've got to keep fighting. We've got to keep pushing and pressuring. And that's hard to do when you're holding on to the trophy.
It's going to be the we got to go again, right?
We got to go again.
Go back to back.
One more time. Back to back. And we haven't had the full dedication, I think, of the 5. However, this game so far, and obviously Alamat hasn't quite been able to tick a kill on the box, but look at the motions that they're making. It's supporting the route. He's playing the Solace roles. He's playing the drive. It feels like that sort of world-beating G2 from but a month ago.
I mean, if you look at it, right, 4-3, 4-4, and an LMAO not on any kills, but didn't really have to because his team is just stepping up to that point. There's a lot of reasons to be afraid of this team. And as we head to Bar, it is going to be the question, MNM, with that timeout. Have you seen something in those last 3 rounds you can change right now, on this very moment, to find yourselves that success now? Because you mentioned it before, an even split, not unheard of. But if G2 keep on playing like the way they currently are, it's not going to be an even split, I can tell you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing here. There's some good motions, some good ideas from MNM, but I think they've been caught a little bit less hot into this showdown. The G2, they've got the benefit of starting on their defense. MNM has to drive the opening momentum on a best of 3, and that's not easy because you know you're playing a long game. Both these teams are well aware of how a long game and a long series can go, but also you're the ones that have to come in and start the proceeds. The person who's, you know, first on the defense doesn't have that pressure. They've just got to match what you match and then try and better it themselves afterwards.
They're just playing like a builder game, right? Like they set everything up and then they just hold the angles and you have to figure out what the solution is to the puzzle they made.
And the pace of a game in a series will always improve as it goes on. It'll always and always get faster and faster as the players get warmed up. MNM, they've had a conversation now. They've had 3 rounds of warm-up. Can they try and drive themselves together? Set right ideas, but
the execution is a bit lacking for now.
Yeah.
But MNM is also a team that can grow into games. We've seen them do it. I mean, they've been able to you know, attend majors, attend the 6 Invitational, get out there. Yeah, that's a bit unlucky. We'll get it on the 2nd attempt, so didn't gain anything more than it already had.
Yeah, Doki removes that, and there's some reveals of what's quite on the board. The air jab waiting on the door itself. They can try and put the pressure onto that. They can cause some dangerous maneuvers later, depending on how safe they feel they are. Ha!
That must have been the trade kill he got somehow. I'm not quite sure where it happened from.
I think it's always going to happen. If Doki kills an Nafe, I mean, you have to remember both those players actually had an impact in the SI final from Dining Window. In the SI final, Doki called out Nafe in all chat on the big screen, said, "Hey Nafe," in the audience. So
yeah, a lot of these players are also friends with one another and they're playing together during the ranky sessions, you know, and right now they're enemies. They're up against one another. So it's really proving about who's better here. That's going to be Solotov with a free kill just to come through. Virtua had no ID. Doki strikes back though, finds Tyrant. But he has to come back up the stairs now, and that means that this mirror window has fallen into the hands of Solotov.
Blur, he's able to get users as well, and Nello just takes the drop on the balcony, but Benja on the back end gets one. Solotov suffers Benja. I mean, look at the hype there from G2. They want to dominate this game here, and so far they've been matching that pace. They've been putting it down. They know how competitive MNM can be, and they're making sure that they cannot get warmed up into this MNM's map pick. Doki has some good plays. Doki has some good motions.
I love the old chat just going around.
I mean, if Doki's in a game, the old chat will light up.
Even if he is,
Doki's in a game with people he's teamed with or played with or mates with, the old chat will light up even more. And yeah, so it's good. There's a rivalry between these two teams. As I said, they're 2 frequent teams we have at majors. They're 2 sort of sets of players, and you know they've had changes. They've had maneuverings of players and transfers, but still, they're big representatives of our region. They have to stay competitive. They have to stay competitive with each other. And that translates to games like this.
It's funny because they've both been at majors, they've both been at SI, but the only 2 times they've met was in the European League last year, stage 1, 2, and 3, and 2 of them went to G2, 1 of them went to MNM. So they're looking to make this a 2-2, MNM, but for now G2 is really running away with this one. So they need to step it up. But if you then start looking at the games, what exactly, if we have to put our fingers on it, what exactly is going wrong? Because G2, they're playing it well. They're realizing what MNM is doing. They're playing right into that game and being able to find answers for it.
It's the awkward thing. The kill game has entirely slipped away here from MNM. Obviously, you're looking at the split of G2. They have 2 players 5-1, a player 4-1, and a player 6-3. They are dominating that sort of spread of just putting those gunfights in. They're confident, they're happy, they're swinging, and there's a unity there and a quick responsiveness that is dangerous. Here, they're going to see if they can try and just pull a bit of a smoke glass play. They want to put the pressure onto the wall, cover it with smoke so it can't entirely get shut out. And there's the reveal of the smoke. There's the break on the wall. The glass is going to go in and get caught by just Benja. Watching on the far end. And, well, that's the one problematic response to a glass going full gung-ho. There's Nello. He's talking up the same mantle. He swings his way all the way around onto small. He's going to lose the kit in the chaos, but he does take the room. That's the important bit. now as the break comes through onto Bakery Wall. They're going to just see if they can try and smash and grab the back end. The Keeper Barricade will give them a little bit more wiggle room on there on the back end, and the calls come through, but it's a stall and it's a stem. It's a bit of damage to Virtue. He's still tucked and a bit safe. What are you going to try and do here? Usus, he gets Virtue on the back end. They're getting hyper aggressive here on the swings either side. They're looking for the fight, and they're not giving Doki much room to work with. They see the reveal, but they can't quite get the angle. Nello finally finds the tail end of it. They've been able to pull the body balance into their favor for the first time this showdown, but it just feels like there's an engagement on every single corner. The C4 misses the man. The man's driven himself through, but gets caught by Alamau on the cross side. A 3 apiece and more damage. Blur is ticking away, almost removed. Tyrant, does he know? No, he doesn't. Blur gets the pick up there on the opposite end. 50 seconds. Nello and Nafe and Benja and Blur all damaged and wounded. Alamau in the safety of the coat check is the only one who hasn't taken any health damage, but has been in one engagement so far. It's going to be such a narrow eke through. They don't have the gadgetry to try and cover their motions. It was all on a default cam this whole time as well. All of it revealed. 30 seconds. MNM, what do you do?
There's not much they can do. They need to get together right now and try and force themselves through, find themselves an opening, and it's exactly what Nave tries to do here, but he misses the opportunity. Ben just swings in from the long side of things. Nello now on 1 HP, swings across, but Alamau finds him. And Doki just hops up out of excitement because they're 5-0 right now. They're looking to go for that flawless half. And where MNM, they had a plan. They thought, okay, let's go quick. Let's try it. Let's bring that glass and take Bakery under control. The one thing that counters that whole strategy was just watching down the hallway. The Warden, with the glasses on, shuts it all down. Great adaptation, though. Rotating around, quickly taking control that way. But it's like that damage already done. Just pure chaos afterwards.
There was a lot of right place, right time there. I think
from both sides.
Exactly, and you could see obviously where Benja was. He had the cover on the smoke. Usually, as I sort of say it, you put the smokes down to cover, putting explosives on the wall. Whether that was he was prepped for or not, either way, the glass was the gift that they maybe expected a swing from. Right place, right time there for Benja. He wouldn't have expected, I think, to find that engagement specifically. Then you obviously have Nello in the right place to put the pressure immediately on the other side, which draws Doki over. Virtue was already there to make sure Nello couldn't get any deeper. Right time, right place. It's a lot of that threaded that round. It's two teams slugging against each other.
It was just is the tug of war, is that kind of where you pull the rope?
Yep.
It's going back and forth the entire time. Like, both were getting the advantage, then giving it away again until that very end where it was that 2v3 push coming in and not finding that success. That's painful. Both default cams up outside, not being taken care of. It's really something MNM needs to be having down at this point. Having been at so many majors, having been at the 6 Invitational, we cannot really give away that free information to G2.
Oh, look at that. Just on the other side of the window, Alamau, he's feeling the pressure, hoping Claymores don't get placed, but now we'll have to read that one is the impact. And the run out just misses the engagement. They drop to the floor and pull themselves back there. Now, Claymores are pretty much instant that as soon as they're placed, they're active. So if you want to do that fight, you have to get there whilst the animation is going down. Either way, escapes with their life and escapes with a bit of knowledge and impact wasted and a minute.
Definitely a bit of a panic moment coming down onto MNM, though. As soon as that wall opens up, you're like, I just put out a Claymore. It's not active as of yet, or will activate any second. Either way, MNM escape as well and headed up towards the white stairs now, looking to see what they can take into control. They're going to get very close to taking a fight here, but the Batwire will be giving away the game because they need to destroy that first. So, you see Nello just holding off. No moving in as of yet, but Alamau's roaming on the bottom down below, finds that first kill, finds Tyrant, and then pulls back. This is what we like to see from these teams. You get that kill, you pull back. You don't need to stick around. You don't need to go for more.
Solotov sprays through, Doki sprays right back, and there's Benja. And it's just this kill game I was talking about. There's always another G2 player and a problem. Doki does get taken down by Nafe. Across the long firefight here on the top. Remember where the site is, it's down below, but you still need this control. There's a couple of players up here, and Benja's showing that presence now. Nello suddenly all that's left was hitting a procs around pillar stairs. He's going to pull off and rotate, so he has a little bit more option to work with, but they knew G2 with a flawless half.
really wish we had player comms right now. But
I can translate. I can lip read. That was a lot of "Let's go."
Let's go.
Let's go.
Probably woo.
The round before from Doki was holy bleep. Let's bleeping go. He's feeling it, and he wants to, because you know, you play with these people before. You've played against these people before. You want to beat them, and you want a ticket to Copenhagen, because if you're the reigning champions, you want to be attending. You need a seat at the table. How many times have we seen reigning champions of one show not make the next?
Many times in the last couple of years.
Exactly. G2, this
They're looking to lift the curse.
I don't want to call it. I don't want to use one of those.
Don't use the D word.
I'm not going to use the D word. I'm not even going to use the E word. That's 3 letters long and also includes an R and an A. I'm not going to use that either. But
like the E word is.
That's why. That's why I spelled it out. I'm not going to use that word either.
No. We don't use any of them.
However,
not yet.
There is a curse that needs to be broken on that side of reigning champions not making the next major in general.
Or not performing well.
Right
after.
I think it's generally not making it, and with this, G2 could punch their ticket.
They're looking to break that curse, of course, and if they manage to win one more round here and in one of the next 2 maps, they will have broken that curse. And that's now what they're looking for. There's no reason to worry as a G2 fan currently, because there has been no signs of any panic or any problems so far.
Oh, they're cozy.
But they're headed up towards the attack right now. So things have changed slightly. They are no longer the designers of the puzzle that needs to be solved. They are now the solvers. They have to go and give it a go against whatever MNM has cooked up for them.
Well, what have they cooked up? Because it's got to be spicy. As I said, the comparative idea of the sort of gun game, it's a 6-0 half. A couple of those rounds had biting moments, and you think that the game MNM are playing against a couple of other teams would have been a lot more successful. It would have, but you're up against G2, and you're up against G2 that's playing like the team that won SI, which is scary. Here, with only 1 round separating them from absolutely rocking the world of MNM and taking their map before we angle up towards the 2nd and potentially the 3rd. They're just piecing the puzzle together. They know it's this ground floor hold, and we talked about what was taken and what was left standing. It seems like they want to pay some focus and attention towards what was a big part of their hold against MNM's attack.
Nave very close to being picked up here. I'm not sure if he fully understands. Now you see the window opening, some pre-fires are happening as well. It gives away his position and falls back to right below the staircase. Means that right now G2 have a bit of freedom to start exploring that first floor, so Virtue can start opening up with the sledgehammer, make these verticals happen, force these players out of the actual side. Solotov, you were so close to an entry kill right there. Again, as he swaps off, you just see Benja coming around the corner right here. Now both will just fall off, not wanting to stick around.
Through the Candelas, down the bottom of Brown, just to cause a bit of panic, but rotates off. They're putting pressure on the side, a small bake window as well, and another missed opportunity here.
3 times in a row now.
And everybody is inches away from a fight that they're not quite expecting here. The continued smash against the top of the boards. 30 seconds, all the players still standing. The Candelas roll out, the damage and destruction. Nello partially blinded. There'll be a little bit more. He's still not confident enough to take the drop, and Usus does get the first. Doki dropped. Removed from the board and the pressure. Benja hops in, but isn't given a fight down the stairs at first. Does find the end of Solotov, but 20 seconds. They're still going to make some motion here behind the back. Virtue finds Nave. They're looking for the pressure on site. Usus goes down behind Smallbake, but Nello still claws on. It's only Nello left to try and keep his team in this, their map, their engagement. G2's take. And a 7-0, and more of the same words from Doki's mouth. But what a performance from our reigning champions.
They are really showing why they are the reigning champions. They are really showing that they are here to make it to that major and maybe even go for another deep run down, because, you know, if they get this, mind you, they're already at that final phase. They don't have to go through the first part. They don't have to go through the Swiss part. No, they're already